So, still get those comments like, you're a shaman, how could you get into politics? You're like a political hack, you're blah, blah, blah. Probably the first thing I should clear up is I'm neither Republican or Democrat. You know, I'm the old version of what would be like libertarian. And I really believe in the Constitution. It's a great thing. A libertarian is like, do what you want, as long as you're not hurting people or destroying things and things like that. Be peaceful, be productive, be nice, all that good stuff. As far as candidates go, I wouldn't care if somebody was a Democrat or Republican, and as long as they had a fairly good record about things, or even a new person new into politics is probably better, that just felt like it would be the right person to be in office, or whatever office that is, I would go with that. And that's about the extent of my political views as far as a political party and so on. But I get into politics to tell people that you should be involved, because if you're not, then you're destined to be ruled by your inferior. And I would say by inferior, the things that you would hold really true to your heart, the other person may not. And that politician may be totally against the things that you hold true to your heart. And by not being involved in that, well, sorry, you get, what you got coming to you, and that's that, I think the politics are kind of rigged, and that you don't really have much of a choice. You get some people that probably would have been good candidates, but the parties are like, no, we can't really control that person, so, we're not going to have that person as our front runner. I still think it's kind of like the old patriarchal thing, I think, if there's a guy and a girl running, the girl has to be the vice president, can't be just in charge out there. And eventually we'll grow past that, I hope, in the near future. But the other part is that, let's take example 2019. Man, that was an awesome year. I mean, I was making some awesome progress with people. And when I say awesome progress, let's just take holistic healing, energy healing. Things, that people think are mostly foo-foo bullshit, right? New age stuff. No, you can do this. You really can work with people with your personal energies, pulling in other energies around you. And I have proven this. I, myself, have proven this. I've proven it on myself when I've been told twice I wouldn't be able to walk again. I've worked with people that were terminally ill, where the doctors told them, well, we're going to pull you off chemotherapy, let you die in peace in a couple months. I've worked with people who had just a couple of weeks to live, and one in particular lived at least 10 years past that. And I won't claim to be a healer, because it was a team effort, and nature was part of the team. But one of the most important things about these types of healing is the environment. Now, it's the environment of your immediate locale of where you're doing your ceremonies, your healings, and so on, or your therapies. So that includes the office, the center, the circle in which you're with, in the neighborhood, and so on. But also there's the political environment and the collateral damage or effects. And in that, I mean that, when people are looking around and they see a bunch of masks, and then they get all these conflicting numbers about what's really happening. And then it's like riots and destruction. You don't know where you're going to go or how safe you'll be when you get there because of looting, burning, and all this other stuff. And then the political parties are both using this to their advantage just so they can get reelected. And that mentality, first off, in my mind, is like the lowest, part of human thinking you can get to, is to use other people's miseries to your advantage. It's a merchant's mentality of suffering. So I try to get people to really see past what's right in front of them into a bigger picture, and remind them a little bit about history, even very recent history. So this party's blaming this on this, but actually it was the other party that started it and is stopping any of the changes to it. So all that in line, one of the reasons that I really try, especially now, to just tell people that Democrats and Republicans are two wings of the same bird. Don't get into this, all right? Don't fall for this. So, and to just like look at the that particular agenda, if you got to switch your vote from the Democrat to the Republican, from the Republican to the Democrat, per issue, per city seat, per county seat, per government seat, per White House, do it. Put the best person in there. Don't have to be loyal to your party. And I think by doing that, we're doing a real service. I forget which amendment it is, but I remember clearly reading something that said lawyers cannot be part of Congress. There's so much of the Constitution I wish that we taught again in school. I mean, we had to memorize that stuff when I was in school. So how does it affect the spiritual growth? It just creates the static. Here's a big shamanic secret for you guys. You ready for this? You can tell if there's something really phenomenally and potentially beneficial for humanity by what the people in power are doing. If they're doing something that's just totally chaotic, causing all kinds of stress and fear and uncertainty, you can bet that there's happening something on planet, in the solar system, or intergalactic energetically that would be to humanity's benefit, but they're not going to let you pay attention to that. These people that are running the world, they have people like me. They have their own shamans who they're just in it to get paid. And just because you're a shaman doesn't mean you have some ethics. Believe me, I know. I've met some of these people. So I, myself, really want people to pay attention to these things so they can pull together. Because right now, this is what we need. And we need to stay that way forever. Remember that the politicians and authorities are just this much of the country's populations, or continent's populations. And that means we can just all rise up and sweep them right out, And this is something that probably needs to happen a lot, not more frequently. And honestly, I think the governments should be scared of the people. Two examples. Ukrainians, I love these videos of the Ukrainians dragging politicians out of their office and throwing them in the dumpster or the trash can and closing the lid. Boom, you're done. Yeah, you can get out, but we just wanted to make a point. You're trash, and we're going to throw you in there. The Lebanese recently made gallows, the platform where you hang people, and to protest what they thought of the government. And I've recently heard that most of their government has resigned. I mean, think about that. You look, and what are the people doing? They're building some place to hang us. This shit's serious, all right? And imagine this, if you want to get a job in government, imagine you get elected and you win and you go up to see your co-workers and they're like, hey, congratulations on your victory. Now you're a senator, now you're a congressman, now you're whatever, So congratulations on your victory, good election, Just a little word of advice, don't piss off the people, buddy. You'll either end up in a dumpster or you end up with your neck stretched. So anyway, yeah, that's what I think. That people need to scare the government. When it comes to police, people are like, do you think you should defund the police? No, hell no. If anything, you should actually give more money to the police department and demand a higher standard. As a Marine, if we just shot somebody like some of these police shoot people, we'd be in deep shit. They have a place called Fort Leavenworth. It's a federal prison, but it's a military-run federal prison. At least it was in the 70s. You don't want to go there. That's not Disneyland. That's not like Disney jail or anything like that. That's rough. So, and that's where military personnel go You shoot somebody for the wrong reasons, and it's not just because they were running away, or I thought, or they maybe. No, you end up in Fort Leavenworth. So I think the police force should be held to the same standards. At the same time, the standards of training, and all that should be available. They should be your elite. I mean, realistically, they should be the elite, of your police force should be your elite part of society, meaning that just like we have special forces in the military, they should be these special forces. I want them there, all right, so I don't have to be dealing with the idiots that they deal with. That's plain and simple. So defunding is just stupid. I do think the American citizens should start to re-examine something between like the county sheriff and in the United States. That's a powerful position. It's an elected position. That means the sheriff answers to the people. I think it is in most cities, the chief of police is appointed by the mayor, answers to the mayor. Okay? There's a big difference there. All right, so, and I believe, that the sheriff these days can pretty much still say that yeah, that might be a law, but I'm not going to enforce it in my county. They have to obey the law, if they're like pushed in their face, but at the same time, The other thing politically, by the way, is called, and we have this in the United States, and they don't have it anywhere else that I know of, is jury annulment, meaning that the jury can look at the facts and like look at you like, yeah, you killed that person, like the burning bed was a story, about this, where a woman was severely bruised and killed her husband. The jury looked at it, she confessed, and the jury said, yeah, not guilty. Yeah, I would have done the same thing. Not guilty. So we can just do that. And see, that's power of the people. So the reason that we really have to pay attention to this is when we're in all this static and in this chaos and uncertainty, and the only thing that we're getting fed from the leaders is fear, chaos, all that, you wear down. It finally takes a toll on you. And then you already have your health compromised by whatever makeshift virus and shit going on. So you're in this immune compromised position. And when I say immune compromised position, it's just not your physical immunity, it's your spiritual immunity. All right, and that's what you really need to hold off what we call darker energies, is your spiritual immune system. So it's really important for us to just like get through this process that's going on right now with all these riots, demonstrations, and all this. Yeah, all lives matter. We know that. But these people who are perpetuating this stuff are only doing it, for the destruction and mayhem. They're political tools, and we really don't know the means or that they're being funded by or what their long-term agenda is, all right? Because they're even turning against the left in a lot of cases. So this is out of control. So I get on there and I talk about the politics to point out these things and really encourage the people of all races and colors to come together. Because when we have the peace, when we know that we can plan a month in advance, and we can't do that now. We can't plan a week in advance. But even just last year, I came back to the States in March. Yeah, I thought I could plan the year out. Right. See, so that causes a lot of stress. When people are already dealing with stuff that they've been dealing with a long time, they have a real problem with healing, the stability. You don't see anything like, oh, I'm going to get better for this, Last year, when things were going pretty well, I was helping people really experience, non-believers, watch with their own eyes, someone get healed through the healing circles of a couple visits of things that they were dealing with for 20 years, some of these people. And the non-believers are looking like, wow, okay, that worked. But that was just that once. All right, well, keep coming back. We do this a couple times a week. And they would watch it. And then you would be like, okay, Tell you what, would you like to try it? Would you like to get on the table and see what it feels like to be the recipient? After that, would you like to try to be the practitioner? We'll help you learn how to run that energy through you to help these people. And when they feel it, it's just like, wow, yeah, it is possible, it's real, and I'm part of it. I love my work for that reason, because you can see the light go on in people's minds. You can see the humanity really start to come out of them. What I've just explained to you is also a political issue when it comes to the lobbyists for American Medical Association, for pharmaceuticals and things like that, because they're like, no, total new age white light bullshit. Here, take this pill. Take this vaccine. Take this, yeah. Let us give you all these other drugs, and hopefully the cancer dies before you do. And when we look at it like, no, I can see the problems in your life, from what you're telling me and energetically. Let me help you reconstruct this whole picture, to where we can make your life run like a really smooth machine, and you'll get the best yield out of it. It's going to take a little while. Your options are 10 years of these drugs, or maybe 2 years, a little bit of lifestyle changes. It's a no-brainer. So, but while we have all this static, all this stress, all this chaos going on, being limited of travel, yeah, it makes it harder for me to help people share in some of the miracles of humanity. Proving to people that everybody can do this to some degree or another. Not everybody's experts, but just about 90% of everybody can do this stuff to some degree, and that is just awesome. Okay? So when you see me doing these videos and stuff like that, this is why. I hope to be doing this for a lot longer, and I hope that I can help other people show people how to enjoy some of these mysteries of humanity. They're laying right under the surface. But we have to take care of some of the civil unrest first. And it has to be a unified team spirit part of it. That means the red and the blues, the liberals and the conservatives. This has to be private. Zero exceptions. Right? Let's do this, people. Let's get back to, don't accept the new norm. There's nothing normal about that. It's totally against nature. The old norm, that wasn't really working either. All right? We can decide what the new norm is, and we can decide that it's going to be something towards an actual harmonious global community. Let's do it. Catch you guys later.